Alright, hey, what's up? For this video, I'm going to talk about visiting Fukuoka, which is the largest city in Japan, or largest city in Kyushu, Japan, and I think is a criminally underexplored city. And I myself am guilty of this too. So, I only know a little sliver of what's going on there, and I can talk about that. But there's plenty more to see and a lot more to explore. So, alright, so most of the sailors who are going to Fukuoka are in Sasebo. Alright, it's about a 2-hour bus ride or train ride away. Train's a little faster, but not that much. And you can also get there for free if you take the bus. The base shuttle bus leaves at 8 a.m. and 4:30 maybe. Regardless, they do 2 bus trips a day, and those take you to the airport. And the airport in Fukuoka does have a subway stop, so you can get onto the subway and get to where you need to go. Alright, so stuff in Fukuoka. Main thing you're going to see, most people are going to talk about, is Hakata Station. Hakata Station. That's where you can get some Hakata ramen, which is also really famous in that area. It's not just the station itself, it's like the neighborhood is named after Hakata. And the train station, that's where the Shinkansen is, so you can take this bullet train to all the way up, to Hokkaido if you really want. But I wouldn't recommend going further than Osaka. After that, it's probably easier to fly. Now, other things about Fukuoka. So the Hakata Station is like this giant mall, and there's a bunch of stuff around there. And there's some kids nearby. I can't really say the stuff I want to say, so I'll hold off on that part. Yeah, so there's the Hakata Station, and then there's a lot of hello. Hi. So you got Hakata Station, and then you got in the area there's Canal City, which is a big mall. So the Hakata Mall, and there's Canal City, another large mall. Sometimes they have shows and stuff at the stage. I'll see if I can find the video of DJ Santa and splice it in here. But yeah, Hakata Station's pretty cool. If you're a nerd like me, they got a big Gundam base. They got a whole bunch of stuff there, and they have a movie theater. They even have literally a ramen stadium. It's like a floor that's nothing but just ramen shops. Right. 2 blocks away from that, there's an open air mall, which has some really cool stuff there too. Some really good izakayas, and it's along a river. That's also where you're gonna see the red light district. Is that in that area? If that's what you're into. I mean, it's not what I was going for, but I walked through that area, and they're very aggressive with their advertising. So it's not like it was a secret where I was. All right, that's Hakata Station. There's some clubs there. That's where a lot of the sailors go to club. Second part of the city a lot of people talk about, which I think is slightly underrated, is Tenjin Station. Tenjin. That is where the bus first stops at. There's another mall there. There's a lot of bars and restaurants, a lot of American shops, or not just American, but like brand name shops and stuff in that area, the whole neighborhood. There's a lot of bars. This is where I see a lot of foreigners hanging out, and a lot of Japanese women. So if I were into going out and picking up girls, which I'm not anymore, but if that's what I was trying to do, that's where I would go. I did try a couple times. Personally, I had no luck, but I don't have any luck fucking anywhere. So I don't know how this marriage thing happened, but yeah, that's where I'd do if I was trying to do that. That's Tenjin Station. There's also a place that's run by, I think, a retired American military called U.S. Burger. Looks delicious there. A couple other really cool places. Some food shops. I did see some Portuguese guy. I was at a combini late at night, and he was telling these Japanese women that he was part of the CIA, but he was from Brazil, so not Portuguese. He was Brazilian. He spoke Portuguese. But he's saying in English he was part of the CIA, and he was there on some top secret mission. And the women were either didn't speak English, very polite, or very dumb, because they were eating that shit up. Anyways, there's a couple other places I went around that area that were pretty cool. There's a place called JB's Soul Bar, and I thought, I saw this thing Soul Bar, and I was like, what are the Japanese people know about soul music, right? And so I walk in there. I'm from a town so white, there's a fucking Mormon temple there. And I go in there thinking I'm going to teach the dude about soul. And there's a picture of him on stage with James Brown. The place was wild. It was awesome. You can find that on Google. That was a really cool place. And there's a bunch of other stuff. And that's kind of the area where, because it's a little further away from where all the foreigners go, they're going to be really surprised to see you, and they're going to be very welcoming. Usually they're not welcoming to foreigners right on the fringes of like the touristy spots because they're used to like drunk idiots. Alright, another spot around there, the PayPay Dome, which is Japanese version of like PayPal, but that's where the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks play. So baseball games there. I think I made a video about Japanese baseball. It's wild. It's a good time. That's all that stuff. I'm going to walk past those kids again, so I'm going to stop and cut this video for a second. Alright, this part's going to be directed by J.J. Abrams with all these lens flares. Alright, so I said PayPay Dome, right? SoftBank Hawks play. There's also Team Labs right over there. Cool area. It's a little hard to get to by the train. It's about a 20-minute walk from the train station, but there's also another mall there. Japanese love their malls. And there is some, I went to like a different train station. I remember I stopped at some izakaya and they were like super excited to see a white person. Clearly hadn't seen one for a while, asked me a lot of questions what I was doing there, stuff like that. I'm looking at the wrong side of my phone, I'm not looking at the right lens. Anyways, that, there's also like a park, a ruined castle. The park is great for sakura, cherry blossom viewing, stuff like that. So that's most of the part I explored, which is mainly on the western side of the city. On the eastern side, there's an Asahi brewery and bar, which I tried to go to, but it was closed when I got there. And there is some other mall that has a giant Gundam statue. Pretty solid Gundam statue. It's not like the moving one in Yokohama. If that's even still there, I think that might have been torn down. But it's like a huge, like 8-story Gundam. When I was over there, that was when really stood out. Like, I went to some place just because I thought it was a bar, I wanted to pee. Turned into, walked into like some snack bar. I want to be paid by the hour, but they're willing to let me like buy a single drink and just use the bathroom. And then I ended up staying there. And I'm friends with the dude who was very clearly in the Yakuza and running the place. So, yeah, that was pretty cool. That was an interesting night. Yeah, they had a good time just asking me sorts of questions and stuff like that. What else is going on? That's the thing I was trying to say. Like, Fukuoka is a huge city. They're actually doing a lot of investing. They're trying to become they call it the startup city, and getting a lot more businesses, foreign businesses, to invest there. And so it's really cool and it's growing. And like most American sailors, really just go to Hakata Station, Canal City, maybe Tenjin, and that's about it. But there's a lot more there. So, go out and explore. It's a cool time. I don't really know what else to say about Fukuoka. I was there a few times. Hotels are all okay. Don't miss the last bus if you gotta work the next morning. Yeah, and then if you're gonna like fly out, I would take the train up there and then like stay overnight and then fly out in the morning. It was usually easier. But you can get to the Shinkansens. If you want the Kyushu Shinkansen, honestly just stop at I think it's Takeo Onsen and catch it from there if you're going from Sasebo. That's really all I have to say about Fukuoka. Yeah. Alright, I actually forgot this part. This is gonna seem like kind of bragging, but it's also kind of funny, so I'm gonna tell it. I hooked up with a girl in Tokyo, and she was like, "Hey, if you ever come back to Tokyo, please call me." And I was like, "Yeah, if you ever come to Kyushu or like Fukuoka, we can meet up there." And she was like, "I'm never gonna go to Fukuoka."